dropped it about 7 mile away. So we didn't get much of that one. So then we got a message from them to put a POW sign in sheets or something like that on the roof of the Western. We did that, and they came over, and our camp there was a row of hills behind it which had electric pylons on top of that, and we had a swamp in the front of us. So these planes came over and started to drop this stuff, and they were all little coloured parachutes. Beautiful sight. And we were rushing through the swamp to try and get the stuff. The Koreans were too. They were hungry, and I'll never forget it. I was running behind one bloke, and this thing came down. It was quite a big box, and hit him behind the head and killed him. Yeah, it was a Korean. Anyway, we stood back then until things finished dropping. And we got quite a bit of stuff out of that.
What did you get? Was it clothing?
Well, we got spam, all the Yankee food, cigarettes, and there was no clothing in that lot. But then they dropped another lot again, and they could see that we weren't getting it all. See, they observed us. They only had half an hour over the drop zone, and then by that time we'd been invaded by the Russians. They'd come down through Manchuria, see? And they had all lease-land gear, all Yankee stuff, and they were firing at us. They didn't know who we were. See? And they were intent, of course, in getting right through to Korea and taking Korea. Anyway, we made ourselves, or let them know who we were, and they came to the camp and sort of took control of us. And we said, "The hell with this," you know. Anyway, so they said, they sent us another message, that's right, they sent us another message to say, now we're going to drop at such a time, now all get out of the camp and ring round the camp. So they came over, and of course they had to come over where the pylons were, so they had to drop right down. Well, next thing, these bomb bays opened up, and like a farmyard gate dropped out, and next thing, there's these 44-gallon drums. There's about 4 or 5 of them welded together, and they dive bombed the yard. And there was also a big tarpaulin, it was an enormous size, and that hit what we used to call the hospital, and it went through the roof of that. Anyway, there was a Russian officer walking through the yard, and we tried to tell him to get out of the yard because we couldn't understand Russian, and the you know. So we tried to shoo him out of the yard, and he started to walk across it just as this five drums landed in the middle of the yard and buried 2. And he was awful close to being buried with it. Right? So then he went back and he issued an order that any more planes would have to land at Konan Airport, which was only a small one, and they would bring the stuff to us. Well, the American pilots, they had orders that they were to shoot at nobody, they would they only had half an hour over the target area. If they couldn't find it, they had to return. Eh? And they were to not confront anybody. Right. Next day they come over, 2 B-29s, and up with these 3 Russian fighters. And they set one on fire. See, they wouldn't do as the Russians wanted them. See? So, anyway, one got away and one was on fire. So he ordered the skipper, McQueen, he ordered the blokes to drop into the sea. And half of them dropped into the sea, and then the other half, they got the fire out. So he said, oh, I think we might try getting for home on 3 engines. They had 1 engine. Anyway, they decided not to, and they crash landed on the Konan airport. They had to crash land, they couldn't do anything else. Anyway, we got a phone call, we could hear this tat-tat-tat up in the air, and then everything disappeared. And then we got a phone call about 6 o'clock from Konan, and it was a bombardier out of this plane, and he said, where are you? See, they saw us from the air and said, where are you? And who are you? Where are you? What's happened? He said, oh, we had to bail out, the fishermen picked us up and they machine gunned us in the water, but they didn't get anybody. And so we said, now you just keep walking along the bitumen road and we'll come and get you. And he told us then what happened. So then we said, oh well, we've got to go and find these other blokes. Where are they? Are they crash landed or what? So we commandeered a Russian, got a Russian bloke, and there was the MO, there was a captain out of our place, and there was myself, and another bloke out of one of the English regiments, big bloke. So we went in search of these blokes, and finally we went out to the airdrome, and there was a B-29 sitting on the airdrome. And the Russians pushed us inside, and these half the crew of the B-29, and they were so overjoyed to see us, they didn't know where they were or what the hell was going on, and the Japs had filled them up with rice and wine and all the rest of it. And anyway, well, they were so glad to see us. Anyway, the Russians weren't very happy about this, so we couldn't go anywhere, and we said like that they had to come back to our camp, or they were going to take them off somewhere else. Anyway, we had to stay the night, and they paired us up with a Yank and an Australian sort of thing. So we went to bed or lay down on the floor and slept a bit. Anyway, when it come morning, I said to the Yank, oh, there's a little window there. I said, have a look, see where we are. Went, look, and the bloody bullet came at the window, broke the window. See, so